It's my privilege today to interview Abigail Stanley, and I absolutely loved your story, Abigail. And I know that you focus on mass tort cases. And for people listening, if they're not real familiar with mass tort cases, typically this involves a single wrongdoing that involves injury with a lot of people. And those people can come together in a mass tort lawsuit. However, they still have to prove their own individual injuries. So I know this is like a big bulk of what you do as a legal nurse consultant. So talk to me about some of the kinds of cases that you're involved in.
So currently, we are bombarded with hernia mesh cases and roundup cases. We also just finished a huge 2-year ESHRE project. And we also have really exciting and scary, but we have 11 new mass tort litigation projects in the works as well. So
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, again, I think what makes your business so exciting is you're dealing not with a single type of case, but you're dealing where hundreds or thousands of people can be impacted. So can you expand on that? Like, how many claimants are there in some of your bigger cases?
So the ESHRE project we just finished was 2,000 clients for one law firm, and the roundup we're currently working on for another law firm has over 5,000 clients, and hernia mesh, I believe they have 5,000 to 7,000 clients. So it's a lot. So it's not talking, one client. It's our assignments for nurses are typically 100 clients a week. It's totally different.
Okay, so sometimes a certified legal nurse consultant is overwhelmed by a big medical malpractice case, a single case. How do you manage these thousands of cases? What's your strategy?
So I have leadership roles that certainly help. I couldn't, do this all myself. So I have a project manager, I have a team lead, and we have quality control nurses. I also have a records manager and billing manager to help with other varieties of the cases. The nurses, for every litigation project, we have a team of nurses. This team of nurses, again, has every one of those leadership roles just for that litigation project. So the roundup nurses have their own team lead they can ask questions to, their own project manager that handles all aspects of the project, and a quality control nurse checking their work. So we also have specific training instructions for every litigation projects that they can look through. It's basically a training manual online. They can print the instructions, pull it up on their phone even through an app, and they can, look it up online. So every single project has this key set to keep the project intact. And I try to keep review nurses. Some review nurses are comfortable being on multiple litigation projects at a time, but most stick to one litigation until that litigation finalizes, and then they'll be moved to something else. So that way they get really comfortable reviewing these like they do roundup every single week until it's over.
And also probably can get more efficient, right?
Oh, yes. That's what I tell them, give yourself grace, just like maybe the first time you started an IV in nursing school versus what you do now, totally different. Give yourself the grace to learn something new, and they become phenomenal at the different, litigation projects.
Okay, so let's take it down to a single medical record. What's the goal here? What are you wanting them to accomplish when they go through that medical record?
So in the instructions, we'll talk about they'll work within Adobe, and they will highlight and bookmark, taking out the key facts specific to that mass tort litigation project. We also have a customized medical summary specific to that litigation project that we have the various law firms confirm this is exactly what the information they want pulled from the record. So nurses are certainly given exactly what to do on each case, whether it's the instructions, what to bookmark, what to put in the medical summary. And so what our goal is to, of course, to have a high quality review, but to have each medical record review, you wouldn't be able to tell which nurse completed it because we're wanting the same thing from each nurse.
I know that you work on these mass tort cases here in the US, you work on these cases in Canada. You attribute a lot of your success to your team, right? Your team, your leadership nurses. But what I really want to get to is your success, because at the end of the day, you're the one who created this, right?
Right.
What would you attribute your success to? What are some of those characteristics that you would say you've possessed and really used to build this business?
So if you asked my husband, I'm sure he'd say the word tenacious.
I like that word.
Yeah, me too. So I would say I'm extremely competitive person. I'm very driven and disciplined. I'm very decisive. But most importantly, I'm grateful, resilient, and I refuse to be defined by my failures.
Fantastic. That such great attributes for success. And again,
Thank you.
obviously, you've really achieved it, because it's one thing to have a business where you're consulting with attorneys yourself on cases, but to build a team of people and to be able to manage that team, that says a lot about you and your success traits. So congratulations. I always love to see CLNCs really build their business something much bigger than them themselves. But it starts with you, and everybody knows that, I'm sure. Abigail, you say that you took a leap of faith and that you let go of limiting beliefs. And this one I love the best, that you invested in yourself. Why is this so important for any RN who's interested in becoming a certified legal nurse consultant?
So I'd say what I love most about the nursing career in general is the absolute endless opportunities that a nurse can venture into. And while legal nurse consulting is extremely different than the typical hospital nursing that we all know, you're still using your incredible scope of knowledge to impact lives in the world. But it's really important for nurses who are interested in legal nurse consulting to understand that this will initially be outside of their comfort zone. And if anyone's like me, that's uncomfortable. And I really love to live by the quote, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Yes.
And nurses interested in pursuing legal nurse consulting, really, they need to invest in themselves. And it will be, a leap of faith, and they will have to let go of their limiting beliefs. And I can attest that it is so worth it to take that leap of faith.
I'm really glad, though, that you're talking about this, because I think if somebody just looks at you, they would say, oh, this was easy for Abigail. You don't look like a person who's afraid. And I think it's important for RNs to hear that, yeah, I mean, no matter how successful a person becomes, they too have had fears. So,
oh, yes.
Sharing that, because again, so often it's like, oh, that person can be successful, look at them. And I think that's what they see when they look at you. But what I'm hearing is, no, you did have to take a leap of faith.
No, I literally have a photo on my phone of different quotes, and especially when I'm at attorney conferences, I look at that quote that I just mentioned. Another one is, anything's possible if you have enough nerve. What's the worst they're going to do? Laugh in your face? I mean, you just kind of have to rip off the Band-Aid sometimes.
Great advice. Something else you say is that when fear sets in, you go back to why you set your goal for yourself to begin with, and that it's the why that sets you free from the fear. Gosh, I just love that. And can you expand on what that really means for you?
So I have a list of goals, and I would say anybody that's interested in legal nurse consulting, start making the list of goals now. And those will always be evolving. But if I am scared about something, which yes, happens all the time, it's always evolving, and fear sets in, and if you look at your list of whys and your list of goals, the fear, it makes it worth it. So you just kind of, again, rip off the Band-Aid. You just kind of have to do it. And if the why is big enough, it's not going to stand in your way.
That's great. So think about the why. So I know you're quite successful today, but let's face it, you had to start at the beginning. So tell me a little bit of that journey. How did you start in the beginning, and how did you get to where you are today financially with your business?
So I actually started back in 2011 as a life care planner and a Medicare set-aside consultant. From 2011 to 2015, I worked the business kind of as a side business. I was still in the hospital working as an OR nurse. In 2015, I had doubled my nursing salary income from the hospital, and that doubling made me feel safe to finally quit the hospital. So then from 2015 on, I was working only on my business. I did not work at the hospital. I have not worked at the hospital since April of 2015. And I obtained the CLNC in 2017. That's when I ventured into the mass tort world. My personal salary doubled from 2017 to 2018 and tripled from 2018 to 2019.
That's pretty exciting.
It is, yeah. Crazy, exciting, yes.
Did you said you set a lot of goals. Did you have that as a goal when you first started?
Oh, certainly. And I would say I still have not met my current financial goal right now. It's always a work in progress. My current goal is for my company, Law Nurses, to be a multi-million-dollar company. And I'm happy to say that I believe this will happen in the next year or two. So, but I'm not there yet. So always another goal.
Love that goal. Financial security is great. And obviously you've achieved that for yourself. But how would you say being your own business owner is different from, let's say, working in the hospital? And what are some of the perks and benefits in addition to financial?
So far more important to me than money is freedom. And that is 100% the word I would use for the CLNC business. It has brought me freedom. So, and two types of freedom, I would say, the freedom of time and then financial freedom, as you mentioned. So the freedom of time, I no longer work. I worked weekend option nights in the operating room. So every Friday and Saturday night, I worked 12-hour shifts, which allowed me to work on the business during the weekdays, which was wonderful. But still, every Friday and Saturday night of your life, you kind of miss out on the balance of life a little bit there. So I no longer work holidays. I rarely work evenings or weekends. And now I work, during the week, and I can flex my time as needed. I spend once a week, I plan a special mother-daughter date with my 4-year-old daughter, and my husband and I will grab lunch a couple times a week too. It's just, I feel like I felt controlled by the hospital, and now I feel like I control my own schedule and time.
A lot of people think that to achieve the level of success that you've achieved, that you have to give up your life. And yet you're telling me it's just the opposite, that you have more of a life working for yourself and being even more successful today than you were when you were working in the hospital.
Correct. I mean, there were times that I've certainly worked the 80-hour weeks for my legal nurse consulting business. I would say that's a choice, and that's a wonderful choice to have as a CLNC. You have the choice to choose how fast you want to grow your business, how slow. I certainly was on a fast track, and I have had the 80 to 90-hour weeks. Luckily, now at this point in the game, I no longer choose to work that much, and I have a lot of other people helping me grow the business. So there's been stages of this for sure.
Of course. And I think it is a commitment. But as you said, when there's joy behind what you're doing and love and passion for what you're doing, even if you have to work that 80-hour week, it doesn't feel like it's work sometimes, right?
Never. I mean, I really can honestly attest to that. I love what I do. I'm excited for Monday morning. I absolutely love what I do. So when you love what you do, it really doesn't feel like work.
That is success, much more than any money in the bank account, right?
Agreed. 100%. Agreed.
So you kind of talked about some ways that it's changed your life. Are there ways that maybe you've changed personally from owning your own business?
Personally, so I try to live by, I don't know, I know he's not very known, but Jim Rohn is someone that I love listening to, a motivational speaker. And he has a quote that got locked in my brain so long ago, that if you set a goal big enough, that in the process of achieving it, you become someone worth becoming.
That's beautiful.
And the business at times has pushed me to my limit, to the point where I feel I created a whole new set of limits for myself. And I certainly don't feel like the same person as when I started, but all good. I wouldn't say nothing bad, but I certainly have grown to a capacity that I didn't know was possible.
Yeah, it's almost hard to grow a business without growing yourself personally, isn't it?
Yes, agree, definitely.
What is your definition of success?
So speaking only to success for someone's career, my definition for success is a person who finds joy in their work, absolutely loves what they do, and the work continues to evolve in a way that allows the person to grow.
So have you achieved success, or are you still on that path?
I would always say I'm still on that path. I feel like 20 years from now, you'll ask me, I'm still on that path. So
that's what I wanted to hear.
yeah, still growing, still evolving.
Thanks, Abigail. So you've got RNs listening to you. Are there any words of advice or encouragement you would want to extend?
Just start. You can't, I mean, I'm a planner through and through. You kind of have to be, but you also have to at some point stop planning and just do it. Just finally make that commitment. And like I said before, invest in yourself. You're worth it. And you have the knowledge that lawyers need, you know? So you can help so many lawyers, clients, you can help the world be a better place.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you, Vicki.